What inspired this book? What made you want to write about obesity per se?
I haven't got a short answer to that question, but as a worry in general after observing people during a lifetime and seeing that there is a growing social problem around body weight, around obesity, a medical problem and a psychosocial problem. The world is eating the wrong foods. People are not getting enough exercise. And I was just fascinated by what it must be like to inhabit a body that had got out of hand, so to speak. So that got me going. Obviously, I've had to link it to my personal life. I've never been even overweight as such, but I've certainly been forced to be very aware of my weight as I've lived my life. I think society is quite cruel, especially to women who don't look the way society likes them to look. And so I've also been fascinated by that cruelty, particularly lurking in language, because there are many cruel words that inhabit all languages. And I did quite a lot of research in that area while I was involved in linguistics a career ago.
That was good. That sort of feeds into my next question. Did you have to do a lot of research on this?
Yes, I actually did more than I expected to do. It sucked me in, and I did have access to a very good academic library here at Rhodes University. So I read quite a lot of the psychological aspects. I read a few novels that have been written on the subject, very good novels. I read a bit about the medical side. It's quite overwhelming, and I found out quite too much knowledge about that. I had to cut a lot of it out when I finally put the book together. It was oversupplied with technical detail, but I needed to understand that in order to fully understand what the consequences are of extreme obesity medically. I also watched some of those videos that you can watch, those reality shows, the documentaries on American TV and on BBC. So there's one called All of Me. I think they're quite horrifying, but they're very real. And I watched those with interest and drew from them enough to build my character, Katy Ferreira. And I grew very fond of Katy as I slowly developed her into some body bigger than her body.
Well, so the book is this balance of kind of almost dry, wry humor and darkness. So talk to me about the balance that you had to maintain between those two aspects.
Yeah, it's a very delicate balance. And important, I felt, because it can suck you in, and it would put a reader off, I think, if there's too much about the awful reality of the body and also of being isolated and alone, as Katy was, marooned on a bed for so long. Depression and all the dark sides of things that accompany depression could have been off-putting. And so Katy has a lovely sense of humor. She appreciates the funny side of things. She jokes. She also looks around and gathers what she can from the window, what's passing, even the light from the passing days, the seasons, the birds particularly, which help me as an author to balance, for her to describe them and delight in every little aspect of them, because she remembers a lot from her father having taught her about birds and so on. So it's half memory, half reality, half beautiful things, and the other part really dark, sinister aspects of the novel. Mm.
So the novel is written as she writes in a set of notebooks. It becomes her diaries, basically. So just talk to me about the deciding on that format, the format of almost a memoir.
Yes, it became a useful structure, I found. We'll talk no doubt about the fact that there is a crossword involved as well. And I started by structuring it around the clue numbers and so on, and it wasn't working so well. And then I got to grips with the timeline, rather, of how the days were passing. And it was a very useful peg to hang things on. And it restricted me because she only had these 4 Croxley books, new, fresh, left over from when she dropped out of school too soon, that she had these ready for Standard 7. And that's all she's got. And she writes this diary come memoir, come letter to her mother, a bit of everything, in which she pours out her feelings and analyzes what's happened and what's gone wrong. And slowly the days pass by and she goes through the books, finishes 1, 2, 3 books, and she gets to the last one as the plot thickens. And I won't give away the plot, but the diaries the Croxley books are nearly full by the time the novel reaches its climax.